Rounding out the end of March with a lot of action around the Eagles with spring teams. Starting out with men's golf down at the St. Anselm, Florida Invitational. They finished second overall as a team, and Braden Shea finishes tied for second overall in that. Then softball, lots of games during the week. They would take on Bridgeport in a pair of games, being swept by the Purple Knights in those. And then they would come home for a few games as well, taking on Assumption. They would get swept in those back-to-back in a pair of 5-inning matchups. And then against Caldwell, they would take a 5-4 lead in Game 1 before falling 10-5. And then in Game 2, falling 5-1 to the Cougars. They take on Wilmington over the weekend, where they would be swept 7-0 and 16-2. So as it stands now, the Eagles 1-21 overall, 0-6 in conference play. Baseball had a bunch of games over the course of the week, both conference and out of conference. They got things started earlier in the week against Chestnut Hill, winning Game 1 14-3 behind a pair of big innings for the Eagles. And then they would take Game 2 5-4. Eagles 10-0 in conference play for the first time in program history, and they would end up on a 9-game winning streak as they would sweep Southern Connecticut on Saturday 6-1 and 8-5. And then Sunday they would take Game 1 of the doubleheader 13-10. Before falling in Game 2, 13-2, snapping their 9-game winning streak, their longest win streak since 2023. And then men's lacrosse, they would have a pair of games, first at home against Caldwell. They would win that one 14-4 over the Cougars. Robin McGrain picking up point 202 in his career to set the all-time record. Once he surpassed that mark with 203, Eagles would go on the road and lose to Georgian Court 14-10, finishing the week 1-1. And then women's lacrosse, their lone game of the week, taking on Holy Family at home in their home opener, falling 18-4. They are now 0-2 on the year. Paige Piper with 2 goals in that one, a career high for her. Macy Peterson got her first goal as well in her career. Baseball now 14-9 on the year, 1-21 for softball. Men's lacrosse 5-4. Women's lacrosse 0-2. Men's golf finished second this week. Women's tennis gets underway next week against the University of the District of Columbia.